Here we go.
Yes, Patrick, thank you. The subject, observe what is the subject is on the topic of sex.
Yes.
Will you please give me an introduction, your name, your age, are you married, and tell me a little bit about yourself, Patrick.
Okay, my name is Patrick Khumalo, aged 34 currently. I'm not married yet, but I have a life partner whom I love very well. And yeah, I'm studying production management, and I'm not working at the moment. Yes, and yeah, I'm a very open person.
Well, thank you, Patrick. Are you ashamed of sex?
No, I am not ashamed of sex.
Okay. Yes. Are people ashamed of sex?
I think it depends on individual's view of sex.
Explain.
But personally, I'm not ashamed. Like the younger people, when you are underage, you are likely to be ashamed of sex because your parents tell you that sex is not good, it's not a good thing for you until later stage. When you are older, when you are a grown-up, you can make decisions for yourself, and the way you look at it will just describe your view of the sex.
Did your parents teach you about sex?
No.
How did you learn? From your friends, or where did you
we were used to be grouped as per our culture. When we grow up, we have a group. It's like a regiment. Yeah, that is where we were taught about sex and how to talk to a girl.
Is this a group, a specific group that you belong to when you grow up, and then they teach you this sort of thing?
Yes, same goes for the girls. When they grow up, they are being grouped, and they will be taught about sex.
Is there somebody that is like an elder teacher?
An elder teacher, yes, for sex education.
We don't have that. The Western, a lot of the Western cultures doesn't have that.
You talk directly to your kid, and
well, they don't. They don't. They just let the kids find out from down the road.
No, that's not the right.
Whoa.
But nowadays, like
is it still like this today?
Yes.
Do they still teach them in groups today?
Yes. When you hear some girls going to virginity test at Wanongo, yes, that is where, because these girls are all over the place and they group themselves, and they have an elderly women in charge of them, teaching them about nitty-gritties of sex.
Wow.
And yes, same goes for men.
Same goes for men.
Yes.
Did you go through that?
I did go through all those stages, and circumcision as well.
Were you also circumcised?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Is that part of?
It's part of preparing you. Yes.
Are all black males circumcised? Most of them?
They are not.
No, not all.
They are not, because circumcision wasn't compulsory then, up until the new government has just put it. It was only for, I think, the Soto people and the Xhosa people, which was part of their culture. We learned that in our culture. I think King Shaka discontinued circumcision because there were not enough people caring for this, and people were dying then. But yeah.
So sex is natural for you. It's not a
sin.
Do you talk about it with your friends? Do people in your culture talk about it?
Yes, people of my age.
They do talk about it.
People of my age, but we have to be aware, like our parents or elder people than us.
Okay.
We don't talk.
You don't
about
talk
it
in front of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do they still? Your elders? Do they still have sex?
They do.
They do naturally. Can they have it when they're 60 and
70? Even 70, 85? Yes, they do.
And they're not ashamed of it?
They are enjoying it.
Are you
you find some 8-year-old still having,
sex with his wife.
Yes, and getting babies.
Getting babies.
I'm telling
and
you.
His wife, does he have younger wives, or would he?
No, same wife.
Same wife.
Same wife.
And he's enjoying it.
He's enjoying it.
Have you ever run into your parents having sex?
No.
No. Do they keep it secret from you?
It's secret, and yeah, it's like a sacred exercise.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are still going to have sex when you're 80?
Yes, I will. I will. Yeah.
Have you ever watched a pornographic movie? Now a movie with people having sex.
Nowadays, yes, I have.
Do you get aroused by it?
Yeah, but I blame it. because the more you are exposed to it, your sexual arousement level. It's finished.
Does it explain that? Explain what you mean by that.
The more you get exposed to it,
the less desire.
The less desire you develop. Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when you come to your wife or your spouse, you are less romantic.
Because you have to live up to that fantasy.
Yeah. That picture, it stays here in your head. And every time you're having sex with your partner, you know you are not the vibrant, you are not original. Now there's that picture of you. And that, yes, it's bad in that way.
Okay, so have you ever had sex? You've had sex before marriage. I mean, you've had sex before. Is that a right? Is that a right? I mean, do you have to be married to have sex?
In our culture, it's not more of you have to get married before you can have sex. Like I said, when you court a girl and you agree that, oh, you are my sweetie now, I'm your both families will have to come together and consult, and then so you automatically you can have sex
before you marry.
Before you can.
Oh, you can. And is it a right to have sex without the parents knowing? I mean, people does that today.
Yes, but your parents will notice once you start having sex, because your muscles will develop.
Oh, is it?
Change. They will notice.
Will they notice? And with the girl, will they notice too?
With the girl too.
And what happens when they notice? Do they call you in?
Your mom will call you, and that woman in the community who groups you will come and talk to you.
Is everybody following those rules in your culture today?
Not everyone, because
would you say most or less or least?
40% now are still following. 60%
what
they don't care because they are living, city life.
Westernized.
Westernized, yes.
So they all into the new.
Yes.
Do they still practice Lobola and stuff like that? No. They don't worry about it.
They know deep down. They know. Yeah. Like when you impregnate a girl.
Yes.
Without your parents knowing.
Yes.
A girl's family will come to your family.
Yes.
Demanding a pay.
Okay.
Because it's a sin.
Okay.
You have to wash that sin away. Yes, it still does happen.
Wow.
And it affects the kids.
It does.
Having babies without marriage or without conventional, yes, it affects the life of a kid.
Your idea, and I know in the past, this was with whites too. And if and I'll tell you this straight out. My great grandfather came from a family of 12 kids. And this was with whites too, big families.
Yes.
And I see this is not the black people have it, the colored people also like to have big
extended family.
Extended, yes. But big, a lot of kids.
Yes, yes.
I see today that the whites have less. Are the black African people still having lots of babies?
Yes, they do.
What is the reasoning behind that?
The reason,
because I mean it's not making them wealthy. Do they still? Is it still from a past?
It's still from the past, and we've got this idea of taking generations. Like I am a Khumalo. I have to get kids. Like 10 kids will be fine.
Okay.
And maybe some of them will pass away at an early stage. So we are in that risk. That is one of the reasons Africans are having more kids.
Do they think that those kids will provide for them? So if you have more kids, they will be able to look after them. Is that one of the reasons?
Yes, it's one of the reasons.
Is that a correct reason? Does it really work?
Now I think we have to be advisable and be very clever in terms of the way we live. Because my view is that we can't be trapped in a fixed culture. Culture it evolves. It evolves. It moves on. Yes, and it has to be relevant to the standard of living and the environment.
Okay, yes. So you won't have many. You'll have a few kids. How many do you want?
4 or 5 will be enough.
So it's a good amount. So you have to look. You have to obviously. You'll have a good job, and you'll be.
Yes.
Okay. In the white society and in the cultural society, and I've noticed this, there's a lot of evil associated with sex. Is that the same for you?
STDs and whatever, yes.
But I mean the evil thinking, sex is bad, it's not good. Do you have that in your culture?
When we were young, we were told that we grew up with that mindset.
Sex is bad.
Sex is a bad thing. Sex is a bad thing.
Yeah. Is it? But I mean, Why did they have that? Why did they teach you that it was bad?
They wanted to prevent us from engaging in sexual activities
at
a younger age.
Okay.
Yes,
but
that was the reason.
Do you think it's affected people later on in life when they become adults now? They feel sex is bad.
Yes, it did. It did, because you find some that they will grow up with that mindset of sex is bad. And they won't get married.
Well, yeah. Would you say that that's something that the Western world has taught you? You know why I'm asking? Because I mean, 100 years ago in the kraals and that, sex, the people didn't think sex was bad.
No,
they didn't think it was evil. They didn't. People just had kids.
Yes.
So do you think that maybe this? I'm just asking you. Do you think this is a Western philosophy that was brought in new society? Or am I right or wrong?
Because the Bible says so. Sex before marriage is bad.
So maybe that's where it emanates from. That's probably where that whole thing came from.
Yeah.
So we've started to believe that sex is bad, and
yeah. Okay. It's actually a good thing when it's properly managed and
No, for sure. Obviously, sex is a natural thing.
Natural thing.
Where you make babies. Can you?
And it's not about making babies.
It's not. Sex is for pleasure.
It's for pleasure, enjoyment.
Yes, and I wanted to ask you that. I wanted to ask you, can you? You know, I know there's a lot of people that think, and I'm not everybody. There is some people that I've spoken to that said that sex is just for making babies. But is it for pleasure?
It's for pleasure. It's the crux of the marriage.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can now make babies in a test tube thing. You wouldn't even need sex. Why would people have sex? They have it for pleasure. Am I right?
It's for pleasure, natural pleasure.
Natural pleasure.
Because that's where you derive natural pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. If you've watched a pornographic movie before, you're not embarrassed. Do you get aroused when you see it? Is it natural to get aroused to see people having sex? Why is it natural? Why do you think it'd be natural?
Because immediately you see it there, you see the actions there, your feelings, they start vibrating.
Could it also be, and I don't want to put words in it, but I'm also thinking because maybe it's forbidden, or you feel like sex is that. Because let's talk about this. If it was so natural, we wouldn't worry about in the summer's day wearing clothes. If we walked around today without clothes on in the summer's day, nobody would get aroused by seeing people. I don't know how you. I'm trying to. Okay, so you can have it. Now I wanted to ask you this one more thing. Sorry, I do get big. Anything else on is sex, religion, and sex and society?
Yes.
Are they connected?
They are connected in a respectful way, because you can't have sex anywhere, like in the streets and in the beach and everywhere.
Is that right or wrong?
It's to have sex anywhere.
Yes.
It's wrong.
Is it wrong?
Can you explain? It's very wrong, because you are influencing other people's feelings, and which is much of an abuse. Okay. Yes.
So you're offending them.
Yes.
You're not thinking about them.
Well, it must be.
So it must be in certain places and as a law. All right, I agree. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else on sex that you want to add for the viewers? Any advice or tips for all people?
I think when you are mature enough, when you've just come of age, so to speak, sex is not a shame. It's a lovable thing to do, and your partner as well. Both of you have to derive that pleasure from it, but we must respect it. And all these sex workers everywhere, that's not the right way to go about sex, according to me. And
explain. What do you mean by that?
The sex workers. And
you don't believe in that?
No, they are doing it the wrong way.
Explain.
According to God and culture, we don't buy sex. It's a mutual agreement, and it's not for business. Yeah, because you are opening yourself to a lot of people. You can't have sex with all the people.
But sex sells. You've seen it. You've seen sex. The adverts, the TV, you see naked women, or it's able to buy. It does sell.
But at the end of the day, the bus stops with you as an individual. Brilliant. You've got to take a right action. Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick. That was a brilliant interview. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just when you observe what is, please just hit the red button when you finished. Thank you.